What's up guys, it's your Super Playaz with your host Tony G, bringing you an anti-meta deck that I've been playtesting. A lot of people have been asking me, what's the deck profile, what am I playing? And people have seen me play this and I've been topping all my events with it. And honestly, I love this HIRUDEGARN leader. I've always been a huge fan of this leader, even before the Storm variant. I've always been a big fan of red-blue HIRUDEGARN, and I built this in a way where could kind of counter most of the decks out there. Only deck that it does struggle with is Janemba, the way it's built right now. But if in the best of 3 there's certain cards you would just add, I would probably add a TN to counter that deck, at least because this deck's very aggressive, and you'll see why and what I run. And so those of you that are new to the channel, hit that like button and subscribe. But this is my specialty Tony G anti-meta HIRUDEGARN deck. This is to counter whatever exists out there right now. And let's get to it, alright? So it's HIRUDEGARN. If you guys don't know what this leader does, is when this attacks a leader card, you may choose one battle card from your hand and place it in the drop area, and you draw 2 cards, which is awesome for overwhelming effects and potentially just to deck thin. It's amazing. And when he's awakened, boom, shoutouts to HIRUDEGARN and Supergirl for creating this for me. He just ate his veggies and got swole and bigger. So when he's awakened, when you this card attacks, draw 1 card, and if you have 4 or more energies, your opponent chooses 1 card from their hand and place it in on the top of their deck. So this is very hand control, kind of hand manipulation. So this is what I love about this leader, and it's a huge shout out to Supergirl and HIRUDEGARN for giving me this idea, or he showcased it in the celebration, San Diego celebrations, and Supergirl for making it for me. So there you guys have it. Look at that. Look how sick that is. I just wanted to showcase that. That's the deck right there. And moving on, let's get to the deck, guys. Enough of that. And so right here we run 4 intensifying trunks. Like I said, it's red blue. So obviously, if we run intensifying trunks, you'll see what else I run with it. Just because this is very aggressive and very control at the same time. And so we do run 4 intensified trunks just to help you self-awaken, and not only that, it's a crit, it's powerful, and it's just beautiful. Doing that and pressures your opponent so much, especially if you go turn 2, is just awesome. And then we have 2 Saiyan Kabas, because after you pretty much, spoiler alert, chain Zeno your opponent, Kaba becomes a very big threat. He pretty much could go for game, and that's why I love Kaba, and that's why I run 2 of them. And just because this is a very aggressive deck, so you pressure your opponent a lot. And so we do run also 2 hidden power E Supreme Kai, just because you don't want to always give double strike, but when you do, you declare it, and either you get the 10k boost, which is the +1 10,000, or you could choose not to give a double strike and you just want to give that 1 single hit, so you could do that double strike. And I do run 1 Furthering Destruction Champa, just because I'm a huge fan of double strikers. And in the community page, if you guys aren't a part of it, they asked what card do you love 3000. I love this card a lot, that's why I put this card in the deck. And then we do run 3 Digging Deep Vegeta, because not only is he a good self-awakening card, when you choose up to 2 cards from your life, add them to your hand. If you do choose to add 1 or more cards from your life to your hand, switch this card back to active, and it gets 5000 power. So this guy goes from 15, swing, auto, take 1 life, or 2 if you want. If you need to awaken, restand back to active. In that same process, it's not a dual attack. It just goes right after that, as soon as the auto is triggered, and you go back to active, and he becomes a 20k. So he's a double attacker. So that's pretty good. It's very good actually. And I run 3 of those just because it pressures your opponent a lot, and it's very, very good to self-awaken as well. And then we do run 4 Unbreakable Saiyan Goku. You combo, and you draw a card. So it's pretty much kind of like a super combo, but it's good for defensive and offense. So I really love this card just because of that, and it's really good fodder as well. And if you need a red energy and you don't want to put any of your other key cards, this is easily a good card to put as energy. And so we do run, since we run the 4-drop or the 1-drop Trunks, intensifying Trunks, we do have to run the evolved version, which is Chain Attack Trunks, which is very good in this format. You'll see the targets we could actually hit. We could either hit this guy, where's he at? If you chain attack Zeno, yeah, or you could dig in deep depending on how much pressure you want to bring out. So we run 4. intensifying Trunks or chain attack Trunks. It's always good, and this card could also attack active cards. And then we run 3 foreseeing hits, just because foreseeing hit is so good for end game finishing, and you get to see your opponent's hand. Like I said, knowledge is power, like they always say. You want to see your opponent's hand and how can you go for game at that moment. And I run 3 of these guys. I'm debating whether to bump it down to 2 or maybe 4. I don't know. It comes in handy sometimes, but most of the meta is like turn 3 you have to survive, and it's getting harder and harder to play this guy. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. I played him once or twice a few games, but it doesn't come in clutch all the time. But yeah, and then we do run the blue package as well. We do run 2 Burnish Bonds Borgos, just because Super Shenron is a problematic leader. This card stops it. I'm debating on bumping this to 3. Still not sure yet, but so far it's been doing really well with 2. I've been crushing Super Shenrons left and right. Hasn't been a difficult matchup, honestly. And so I usually play this turn 1, make them bring out their Crisis Crusher Goku, make them waste a card with that. And that's why I like doing it. And then we do run 2 Hidden Darkness Minosha. I'm really debating on putting this 3 for sure. This card is very powerful. I really like this card, especially with this leader, just because you dump a card, you can search out the next cards that I'm gonna be showing you, and it's 2 HIRUDEGARN the Wanderers. So you pretty much dump Minosha, and you dump Minosha and you bring out the legs, or you search for the legs. So it lets you deck thin and see your deck as well. So that's why I run 2 of those guys. But I might bump them to 3, but not sure what cards to take out. Like I said, it's been working really well and I don't want to mess it up. And then we do run 1 Unyielding Spirit Trunks, just because when you attack, you combo, it resets one of your energies, and honestly, resetting 1 energy is very powerful. It goes a long way, honestly. And yeah, I really love this card. There's a reason why it's at 1. It's so powerful. It's just too good. You gotta still run this in the blue leader, at least for HIRUDEGARN, in my opinion. At least blue aggro. And then we got the one of the best super combos for HIRUDEGARN. You pretty much combo, drop a card, draw 2. And so you can obviously drop your Minosha, or if you want to drop your legs, whatever you need to drop the cards you don't need. It could be extra cards or battle cards, and you get a 10k boost and you draw 2 cards, which is so good. It deck thins, and sometimes you end up drawing into more super combos. And then the new card from the new set, it's Quick Shift Majin Buu. This card is so clutch, guys. I don't know if you guys know what this does. I think every color has one of these from the new set from Series 6 Destroyer Kings. Quick Shift Majin Buu helps you so much, just because when you combo with this card, if your leader card is blue, you may choose 2 cards from your hand and shuffle them back to your deck. If you do so, or if you do, draw 2 cards. So sometimes you open up with cards you don't want in your hand, so right away, like you could open up with 2 Zenos or 3, and if you open up with this guy, just send them back. Like sometimes you don't want to see those Zenos, or sometimes you don't want to see your extra cards, you want to see more red to pretty much charge. And people are sleeping on these cards. These cards are amazing. Every color has one of these, and you guys got to pick them up. They're so good. I don't know. I think I'm gonna bump. Nah, I'm not gonna bump it that to 3, but I'm gonna keep it at 2. But then we have 3 Zeno the Playing God, because you give such a huge hand advantage to your opponent early on. You pressure them so much that you do this, you reset their hand and their battle area. Not their energy, but their battle area, which is great. You bring them out with chain attack Trunks. So because he's 15k, and that's a really nifty combo. And what I've noticed, this really hurts Kid Goku and it hurts Super Shenron early on. If you do it right away, you shut down most of their plays and they can't really do anything after that. So against Super Shenron and Kid Goku, you want to chain attack Zeno as soon as possible. As soon as you see it, pressure them a little bit and then just restart their hand, because it's going to be really difficult long game. But once you do that, at that point you could awaken and then you start controlling their hand at that point, which is so good. So we run 3 of those guys. And then like I said, Kid Goku is a big problem in my locals and Super Shenron. So we run 2 Mass Saiyans, just because you fill up the drop area pretty quick and you warp those cards so they don't see them in their drop area, which is so good. You warp them and they can't do anything about it. That shuts down their plays dramatically, and they can't do anything about it. They really can't. They get stuck. So you warp their Kid Gokus, their Aiders, whatever you need to get rid of, and then they get stuck. They can't do anything. So depending on your locals, you could change it to banish your food if there's a lot of Brolys, or if there's a lot of things that swarm, bring this guy. And if you're playing against a lot of Janemba, your locals, swap this out for TN and stop them from resetting their energy and doing all those crazy plays. And then going on to the extra cards, those were all the battle cards. We do run Planet M2 because Crisis Crusher is annoying sometimes and it shuts down your deck, so you need to have a way to get rid of it. So you play Planet M2. We run 2 of these bad boys just because it gets rid of Kid Goku, gets rid of Aider, gets rid of all those 1-drops that are 5k out of the way, and it's so good because late game it also comes in clutch and it hurts your opponent because they have to drop another 5k or another 10k in order to combo. That's less attacks you have to work, or less combo cards they have. And then we run 3 Dimension Magic. I run 3 just because a lot of people aren't really playing Broly, and if they are, then it just really helps me out, honestly. I don't really worry about it too much. But Dimension Magic, it's great. A lot of people sometimes do have TN, so I kind of don't like playing this that often. Maybe I might use it once or twice, but because TN really shuts down my plays. In best of 1, I try not. If I know they're gonna play that, then kind of play around it a little bit. But obviously, best of 3, it's a different story. And then we run the last extra card, which is Senzu Bean, which is so good. It continues your plays. If they don't have their own Borgos or their own Whis, you kind of manipulate your energy. Most of the time they don't, because people don't expect this leader anymore on it, and this guy's still really good in best of 1. In best of 3, you gotta be careful because TN does exist and it really hurts this deck, but you gotta play around it. So I've been topping with this. I came in first a few times. I came in second most of the time. I usually lose just because I don't see a certain card early on and it just hurts me. But with Quick Shift Majin Buu, that's really shifted it, and it's been really consistent, and I haven't really lost yet. But Super Shenron is still one of the toughest matches. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's a very grindy game, and Janemba is a very grindy game. So if you're gonna play this, be careful with those 2 decks. It really doesn't have a hard time with anything else but those 2. So there you guys have it. This is Tony G Spice of HIRUDEGARN Red Blue, and like we always say, y'all stay Supah.